Hello, this is Matt Bergman, and you are listening to the Punk Rock Libertarians Podcast, episode 22. I am here with Jared Schneiderman and Alexis Schlegel.
Hey.
Is everything cool, Alex?
Yeah,
playing
man.
on your phone there?
Yeah,
You
good,
got
man.
that? Okay.
Good. Yeah.
Cool. Just making sure there's no emergencies going on?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Okay. So, how's it going, guys? How was your weekend?
My weekend was pretty boss. I went camping in Western Maryland in the mountains. Had a pretty good hell of a time there.
Cool. Who'd you go camping with?
Just some buddies,
Yeah?
some bros.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good time, man.
How about you,
Alexis? Didn't have any run-ins with DNR, which was pretty nice. Yeah, it was pretty chill.
Totally.
How about you, Alexis?
Oh man, had the annual fantasy football draft, and guys I don't know grew up with. It was up in Atlantic City, so it was all right. But
Who'd you take first pick?
Took the receiver from the Bears, Alshon Jeffrey. Matt's very familiar with his.
Wow, what pick
he's a
were
big
you?
football fan.
No.
He was like
Not
fourth round,
really.
but we were at keeper league, so you keep two. So by technically your first round pick, there's already like 10 people off the top 10.
Oh,
Off.
okay.
Dude,
See, I've never done
this might be a
keeper
little too bro for this podcast.
Yeah, this might be.
Dude,
this is-
this is so punk rock right now. We're talking
I don't know,
fantasy
dude.
football.
20 bro.
I know a lot of punk rockers who are, well, maybe not a lot.
We're
But
talking fantasy football,
There's a
man.
fair amount of punk rockers who are into like football and stuff. I don't know. Maybe there's more than I like to think. Because, like I'm just totally not into football at all.
So what? No one else is allowed to?
No, people are allowed to, man. I don't
What are you
know.
trying to do,
Just-
man? Throw me in jail
just
for,
like-
in fantasy football?
I don't know, dude.
Throw me in a rape cage?
There should be a law.
I don't want to throw you into
Against it.
jail. I don't want to throw you into jail.
Okay.
It's just like for me, it's a yawner for the podcast. I don't know. That's just for me.
Okay.
That's just
Well, if our audience feels that way, please write in.
yeah. Please write in. See, I'm just encouraging participation, but some people could be into that, and I'm not being a Nazi about it, dude.
There's going to be a flood.
I'm not encouraging like a football burning.
We better not be being a
There's
Nazi.
going to be a flood of emails that they want us to do like a fantasy football minute at the end of every podcast and give them advice.
Oh, is that what you want to do, dude?
No.
Okay.
No, I want to win, man. I don't want to give anybody advice.
I mean, whatever, dude.
But-
If people want to hear it, okay. Make me look like an asshole, but I don't know.
Well, how about this?
I don't know. How about we
something we can
talk
all-
about something relevant like The Walking Dead instead?
Yes.
Okay.
Agreed.
So yeah, I don't know. For me, like horror movies and punk rock are like punk rock and libertarianism.
They go
it's-
hand in hand.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Nuts to butts.
Horror movies to me are totally punk rock, especially like the DIY low budget ones that come out, and I mean, to my knowledge, like low budget horror movies seem to do better than any other type of movie as far as like sales and interest.
Better than any other type of
Any
movie?
other type of low budget movie.
Oh,
Wouldn't
okay.
you say so? Because,
I
dude, I
don't
mean,
know.
there's some like fucking horror classics that cost dick to make, and they've made over the years like cult classic status,
Right.
by selling a lot of copies.
Well, I mean, that's because they focus more on the writing and more on the entertainment aspect of it than...
Yeah, I'd say entertainment aspect because
Yeah.
maybe not always.
Well,
the
yeah,
writing,
the writing's
but-
usually pretty shitty, but...
Yeah, well, I mean,
Not
dude,
shitty.
Sometimes it can be pretty awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
dude, I love. I mean, and sometimes shitty writing is great.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just shitty writing is an art in and of itself.
That is true, yeah. There's a good way to do shitty writing.
Yeah.
But
And-
what'd you think of Fear the Walking Dead?
So far, I'd say the verdict is not in.
The verdict is not in?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I
I,
think
mean,
so
I'm
far
not
I
going
like
to
the-
complain about like zombie like television shows because growing up, I never thought that would happen, and
Right.
it's the first time I heard it was going to happen. I'm like, wow, what a cool idea,
Yeah.
And I mean, it's really. I mean, it's really telling because it's just like think about all the like TV stations, and think of like like before cable, you had like three, maybe four at a point
Right.
where like making television shows, and then you get all these stations, and you it's really it's kind of capitalism, there's just so many options out there, like. You see what I'm saying? Like when I was growing up in the 80s, you had like fucking TJ Hooker rocked. but you had like TJ Hooker. You had all these like cop shows, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You watch cop shows?
Yeah, I mean, dude, they're
Lame.
fucking entertaining, dude. Like,
I got fucking tired of cop shows, not just because of the police state, but I just started noticing all of them were pretty much the fucking same. Like, I had a few that I liked. Like, I liked the original Law and Order. Like, I thought that was pretty badass.
I thought that was a yawner.
Really?
As well.
See, I liked all the dialogue, man. I liked, like, I wasn't all about like
nobody
the high
watches
action.
porn for the dialogue.
Speak for yourself, man.
Man, the A-Team was like classic. That was the A-Team.
Oh yeah, the A-Team was the shit, dude.
Hell yeah, because
But that was like vigilante cops, right?
well, they were like
no, dude, they were like from the fucking army, dude.
they were framed for a crime they didn't commit, and
Yeah, I think
if
they were
you
like
could
a
find
special
them,
force
yeah, man.
or something.
If you could find
okay.
them and you had a problem that you couldn't go to the state, maybe you could hire the A-Team. It was very
yeah, dude, they were the #1 team.
yeah.
Sweet.
That Knight Rider was
did,
pretty
Did you
rad.
never get into the A-Team?
I don't think I've seen a single episode of the A-Team.
Man.
Wow,
Dude, I'm a little younger than you, man.
Yeah, but
Sorry, bro.
I don't know, dude. How old are you, Jared?
27.
27. Okay. Yeah, I don't know, man. Dude, you
Like,
should.
you grew up in the 80s. I was,
you
like,
should probably
barely
try to
alive
watch
in the
it.
80s.
It's like it's pretty
Yeah.
entertaining.
Jared
If
caught the
you're,
tail end of the
yeah,
80s.
searching for
I
shit
wasn't
on Netflix.
Cognizant in the 80s. But yeah, Fear the Walking Dead. I think I like the casting better this time around. Because I think that's probably the weakest point of the original Walking Dead is just some of the casting. Like, some of the characters I'm not a big fan of. Like the fucking, what's his name, the little boy? I don't think anybody likes him.
Carl,
yeah.
I don't know. Like, see,
I mean, I like
think
Daryl a
Carl's
lot.
gotten better in like the past couple seasons. He's not as annoying. He's kicking ass, dude. He's not whining anymore, man.
He's not whining, but
It's like he put the Vagisil on it.
I still don't think he's a
walking
great
tough.
actor, though.
You don't think he's a great actor?
I don't.
I guess
I don't know, man.
He doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I mean, it's
It
definitely
doesn't
gotten
bother
better.
me
I mean,
anymore.
the last season of The Walking Dead was fucking awesome. By far my favorite.
I don't know. For me, the first season was my favorite because it was that like initial like introduction to the concept. It was kind of like blowing my mind more,
Yeah.
Not that I hadn't seen like a bunch of like ton of zombie movies. They're my favorite movies, like hands down. So like I said, dude, you could have like. Did you ever see like Zombie Nation?
No.
Yeah, it's another show. It's on cable or something, but they put like a season up on Netflix, and it was nowhere near as good as the Walking Dead, but I think it was. It's pretty cool in that you think somebody's the main character and then they die off, and
that
it
is
kind of
cool.
like keeps happening,
Right.
and I mean, like I thought it was totally entertaining. There was like I can't remember his name because I saw it a while ago, but I remember like at least one of the actors on there. I just totally just like hated the dude. His like face annoyed me. You know what I mean? It was just like, but
It's a little shallow.
No, I mean it's just like the guy just seemed like a dick.
Okay.
So it seemed like a
That's
dick.
how I felt about
he seemed like a
Shane.
dick in real life.
That's how I felt about Shane.
Yeah, Shane. I mean, and on
But he was
one,
a good character, but he was, you just a guy you love to hate, kind of.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of good if like the guy kind of plays that role and he makes you hate him.
Yeah, no, totally.
But when the guy's not playing a role that should make you hate him and you still hate him,
Yeah.
it's like you got a really bad actor. you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So, but yeah, for me the verdict's not quite in yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's only one episode. It's a
Like
little early.
It seemed to be slow in the action, but I guess Walking Dead usually is like a lot of the time.
Yeah, but I did love how they had like, I mean, they pretty much presuppose that you've already watched The Walking Dead, so they'll have these scenes because like the zombie outbreak hasn't really taken off yet, right? So they have those scenes where you're like, is this guy like the one scene where the principal's like slumped over in the chair?
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, whatever. If you haven't seen it.
Yeah, whatever. If you haven't seen it, dude, that was just so rude. We should just stop talking about this right now and get back onto libertarianism.
All
Maybe.
right, fine. I guess it's too early for spoilers.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, but yeah, I'd say it's entertaining. I'm gonna watch this week and see how it goes.
Me too.
So
It's actually on tonight, right?
I believe so. So
Sweet.
I'll probably watch it tomorrow.
Yep. All right, so on the libertarian shit. Oh, yeah. So last week on the podcast, we talked about how there was a drug. They were trying to implement drug testing in a school in Wisconsin. Well, a friend of mine who listens to the podcast clued me in on another school district that tried to implement something back in 2001. This was recently posted back in January. Delaware Valley School District students will soon be required to provide a cup of drug-free urine for the privilege of driving to school or being involved in extracurricular activities. That is, 1 cup to get started, and then random urine tests as long as they remain involved. Random suspicionless drug testing had been the district's policy since 1996, but was banned from practicing after an injunction against testing in 2011. And then this injunction was vacated on January 21st. So, they're trying to implement it in Wisconsin, and apparently it's going on in the Delaware Valley School District. It's just, like I said last time, so what you're basically doing is you're taking kids that are using drugs, and you're saying, okay, now you can't do things that might cause you to not do drugs anymore, or might occupy your time rather than doing drugs. So you're saying you can't do extracurricular activities, you can't do the sports team, you can't do the football team, you can't do whatever, chess club, whatever, because you've been doing drugs. So now what are you going to do? You're just going to do more drugs. Maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It just seems like the punishment just further exacerbates the problem, if there is one,
I would, yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to discourage kids to get involved or, anything. So
right. You're just hurting them. And what the fuck does it matter? I don't think kids should be using drugs at that age. I think drugs should be for adults who know how to manage themselves and use responsibly. I definitely don't, I don't advocate for middle school kids to be doing drugs, but if a kid's smoking weed but he's fucking on the varsity football team, what's the big fucking deal?
It's not exactly ruining his life.
Yeah. Maybe it's helping him. Maybe it's relieving some anxiety from school or bullying or something, and it's a coping mechanism. I don't know. And on top of that, it's a violation of privacy.
Well, I think first and foremost, yeah, it's a violation of privacy.
Right.
Totally. And then, I think, we should, of course, discourage drug use, discourage it to your friends, discourage it to your family, say heroin, cocaine, just drugs that, you think are bad for people to do.
Right. But encourage them to smoke weed.
If they want to, just I think it's just more important that you don't advocate throwing them into a cage if they want to.
Yeah, totally.
I think that's really the biggest thing.
Just educating people, just telling them the truth about drugs and letting them make their own decisions.
Yeah, providing the documents.
Yeah, Alex.
I got the documents.
Alex is still on document duty.
Moving on to the next document.
The next document we have is an interview on the Sarah Palin show.
She has a show.
What is the show called?
On Point or
On Point with Palin or some shit?
Yeah, some shit. I think that's what it's called.
Literally.
Some shit. It's just an interview she did with Trump, and it's pretty hilarious. A key highlight was apparently he had been asked but in some other interview what his favorite Bible verse was. And I guess he couldn't name one.
Yeah.
So his excuse was that it's too personal.
Yeah, but
in
reality,
he loves the Bible.
he was sweating harder than Mike Tyson at a spelling bee.
Which to begin with, I don't know. It's why the fuck does that matter in the first place? What your favorite Bible verse is? But,
well, it's obvious that it matters, and it's changing. It's beginning to matter less. Yeah, I mean, I do. I think it's fucked up that the guy just can't say, I'm not really into that.
Yeah.
Or whatever however he feels about it.
Right.
So.
And then the claim that it's your favorite book. And, I don't know.
Yeah. He should have been better at playing it off, though.
Right.
Like, I could never pick a favorite. There's so many gems, It's like,
where to begin?
It's like, yeah,
the
totally.
whole thing. The whole thing.
We'd be here all day. Yeah, the whole thing. Yeah, totally.
And then another amazing highlight was apparently both Trump and Palin have libertarian streaks.
Yeah, that according to Sarah Palin.
What do you guys think of that? You think that's true?
No, I think that's disturbing, though, that, it's kind of like they want to, like, throw it out there like it's cool.
They want to co-opt.
Honestly, it depends on how you look at it. It's kind of encouraging that they throw it out there like it's cool. You know what I mean?
It means that it's relevant. It means that...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There is a base that
people weren't using that word that much,
Right.
And then... But, yeah. So, it's also... It's kind of fucked up, though, because... It's like, libertarians, most people that I know that identify as libertarian don't want to be associated with Trump or Palin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a double-edged sword because, like you said, on one hand, it is relevant that they're discussing it. But the fact is, like, I remember, I don't know, when Glenn Beck used to be on Fox News, like, my godparents, avid Fox News watchers, kind of neocon-ish, but they love Glenn Beck. And he's like, oh, yeah, he's libertarian. You should check him out. And he's talking about the Fed and he's talking about this. And it's just like, I looked at it where he's just jumping on board just for ratings and just to, like, he's just jumping on board. So he's just jumping in front of the parade, and then he kind of just he's bastardizing like what it is to be a libertarian. But then also that could also encourage people to maybe go down the road and find out. So it's like kind of like a double-edged sword.
I've heard a lot of libertarians say that
totally.
like they like or they Glenn Beck got them into libertarianism. I mean, not like on the same page as like Ron Paul.
Yeah.
On the same level as Ron Paul, but
no, I mean, and dude, that's cool how anybody fucking comes to it.
Yeah.
If you come to it by ways of Alex Jones.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean?
Or Ayn Rand.
Or Stefan Molyneux, or, like, I mean, whoever.
Yeah.
But some people are just so, they're not genuine. Like someone like Sarah Palin saying that. She doesn't.
Well, because, and
Are you guys
also
fans of Rand?
Ayn Rand?
Yeah.
We talked about this, but
yeah, okay.
I mean, like I think what I said last time was that, I mean, I like some of her stuff. I don't like her focus on like greed or like what was the one book she wrote, the Virtue of Selfishness, which I mean, like, I understand what she's getting at, but I don't know. I think her abrasiveness with it and I don't know, the way she approached things wasn't the best. And like some of the things with like objectivist philosophy, I don't necessarily agree with. And also, they're essentially minarchists, which I also disagree with. But, like I said, there's good stuff in her writings, and if it, brings you onto the path of libertarianism,
yeah, totally.
like,
if it brings people there, yeah. But I mean, it's just basically like the virtue of selfishness. It's like if you want to be selfish, I feel like that's your fucking right. Yeah, that's your right. I'm not going to try to stop you, but at the same time, I wouldn't call it virtuous.
Yeah.
I
mean, I think the good thing about capitalism...
And that's pretty much where I stand with Rand.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think the good thing about capitalism is that it is the best tool to harness selfishness and use it for good. Whereas, a totalitarian government, where selfishness and greed would manifest
well, I mean, I think
in horrible
it's the
ways.
best tool to harness anything to do anything. Honestly, I mean, seriously, anything to do anything worth doing. And it's basically, it could lead to some messed up things, but I mean, I think it comes down to like your opinion of people, really. Because if you're a libertarian, whether you're just realizing this or not, you're a part of you being a libertarian. I at least believe that you actually believe in people. You believe that we are capable in doing better things with freedom.
Right.
So there's that.
Sounds like a campaign slogan when you run for office, Matt.
I don't see that happening.
I believe in people.
Yeah. So
okay. Anything else you want to hit on that video? I mean, that was pretty. I mean, it's just kind of, I don't know. It was stupid.
Yeah, I mean, it was
pretty
the
comical.
It was basically, Palin tonguing Trump's butthole for 10 minutes,
Yeah.
and yeah.
I did want to talk about another thing. They were talking about how, Trump is fighting against the PC police, and that's one of the reasons why he's so popular. And I mean, I guess it's somewhat true to an extent, but he's also just being a complete asshole and just saying a lot of fucked up shit. And I think the reason why people want to hear somebody. People are getting tired of the PC shit, I think.
Yeah, I think people are getting tired of standard politics. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They're getting business as usual, that sort of thing. So, but I think, especially with the PC stuff, you have all these, like, what they call the SJWs, the social justice warriors, that turn every little minor thing into this big, like, fucking, sexist or racist or whatever thing when it really isn't. And not to say that there aren't sexist and racist things going on.
I mean, I hate PC more than everybody, but, I really fucking hate PC. But with Trump, it's like he's not really. I mean, he's admitted to contributing money to Hillary Clinton and Nancy Pelosi, right?
Yeah,
and like a bunch of other people, So it's
I don't know
like
if he's admitted it, but it's documented.
No, he's admitted it.
Really?
He's proud of it. He's like, I know how the system works, So, and if he's participated in this horrible system, why should we trust him?
Yeah, exactly.
And I feel like that's a question that you should come to if you have half a brain to think.
I mean, people want to commend him for being honest, which fine, but when you're honestly a douchebag,
yeah, exactly,
it's not any better than a dishonest douchebag, really.
Yeah, it was like in the first Republican debate where he was admitting to, like, 4 of his companies bankrupted, or under bankruptcy, went into bankruptcy. So, and it's basically, whoever was moderating, was ragging on him, and he's like, well, the investors are the only people that lost on that one, and investors are usually bad people. It's like Trump, like
He said that?
Yeah, basically,
Wow.
Basically.
Good luck getting investors now, buddy.
Yeah, so it's like Trump, like you don't invest in shit. Come on, give me a break, dude.
How can you knock on investors? I mean, they're the people that drive.
Yeah, well, and basically he was just trying to, like,
deflect.
Yeah, deflect, exactly. Yep.
All right, well, that's enough of that shit.
Yes.
So I guess we should talk about this recent shooting in Virginia. I'm sure everyone's aware, but there were 2. It was a newscaster or news reporter and a cameraman.
Yes, in Roanoke, Virginia.
In Roanoke, Virginia, were murdered by an ex-employee of the station. We actually just watched the video, and we're noting how, and I want to preface by saying I don't, I'm not a conspiracy guy. I don't get into false flag shit really ever.
I believe you.
Hey, man. But I don't know. There was something about that video there were some parts of that video that were really strange.
You know what I don't like?
What?
I don't like how like when you said that, it's like you got to say like, I'm not some sort of conspiracy theorist. You know what I mean? It's basically like, I mean, it's kind of fucked up when you think about it, that there's like this anybody who doubts the government or that doubts their official story is like automatically going to be looked down upon. You don't hear them out. You just shun them off like right there, like a lot of people do.
But I think there's a more nuanced way to look at that. I mean, it's one thing to be a conspiracy theorist like Alex Jones. Like, he's not looking at things rationally. He's just trying to find the angle that's going to say that's going to drive the viewpoint that everything's a giant conspiracy. And then there's being skeptical of the government story. And I think being skeptical is a valid way to look at things.
And I agree with you.
So
I agree with you.
That's why I just wanted to preface it by saying I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
I know. I'm just saying it just kind of sucks that you have to do that.
Yeah, I agree.
You know
or
what I
just
mean?
like conspiracy theorists.
Now we're going to talk about this conspiracy.
Yeah. Well, it's just being just a critical thinker and analyzing and looking at this. Like, wait a minute, maybe this exactly like maybe everything the government's telling me or the media isn't true. So you're just critically thinking about it. So
Yeah.
but yeah, it's just. Anyways, gee, Matt fucking with the mic here. But,
Yeah, no, totally.
Like, I'm not saying, everything that... Obviously, I don't think that we should buy everything the media tells us hook, line, and sinker. But I also don't think we should buy everything Alex Jones tells us hook, line, and sinker. So
yeah,
there's
totally.
got to be a middle ground there.
No, I think I'm in that same boat with you.
so pretty much, like I saw the video earlier this week and thought the same thing. Jared, you saw
on
it.
InfoWars?
No,
Where did I
I mean
hear
it
it
was
first?
all around. It's on Infowars, Infowars.com. But no,
there's
you
a war
just saw
on for your mind.
So Matt, you just saw the video tonight. Like, what do you think? Like, I don't know, just
Yeah, like, I don't know. How many times was that lady shot, like, in the video? Wasn't it like at least three times?
Should I describe the video for those who haven't seen it?
Maybe you should, dude.
All right. So basically, the shooter was carrying a cell phone while doing the shooting, and it's like the cell phone's kind of. It almost looks like a video game where you just see his hand, like the front part of his arm.
Yeah, it was like Doom or like
Yeah.
GoldenEye. Fucking classic shit, dude.
Okay. So yeah, it looked like that, and so he like walks up, and it looks like he's standing like almost right next to the cameraman, and then in front of him, sort of like they're facing, like he's to the side of the reporter, who's facing the person that she's interviewing, and he pulls out the gun, holds it there for like 5 seconds,
And nobody sees it.
No one sees it. No one even looks over at him. And then he puts it down back into his wherever, out of camera view. And then he pulls it back out again, like maybe 10 seconds later, and just starts shooting at the lady. And he fires like a few shots, and she screams and starts running. And you don't really see any blood. I don't know. I mean,
he drops the camera after like maybe 3
camera.
shots. She takes off running, full speed, unhindered,
right.
and it just seems hokey.
Now, I mean, it could be, like you said earlier, it could be that the camera was like zoomed in, so he looked closer than he actually was. I mean, I find it hard to believe that nobody would like look if somebody like walked over to them, or at least like glance over and just see, oh, there's something in my periphery. But
Yeah,
again, if he wasn't
and
as
how many people were around too? Like, because you don't get to see what's on the
yeah,
other side of the camera.
yeah.
Was there like a crowd of like 10, 15 people? And if there was, nobody's going to notice this dude pull out this gun.
I mean, it's hard to tell from the
Because I
video.
mean, if it was just this dude randomly walks up, I mean, you think they would kind of notice it,
Right. And then on top of that,
And if there was a crowd, I would think some people in the crowd would notice. I would
exactly.
think.
I mean, I would guess that there wasn't a crowd.
Yeah, so then you're not just going to notice just some dude walking up, It's like, oh, why is this guy standing here? I think that you would pay a little bit more attention to at least where you'd notice if he had the gun or not. But that's what I would think,
But but we weren't there. You don't know what it's like. But then the other weird thing was just, he took a few shots, and you don't see any blood, and then she's able to, like, run off. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a fucking forensic or ballistic expert or whatever. I don't know, like, if you can, like, run away like that after getting shot. Maybe he didn't hit her with the first few shots.
Yeah, I'm wondering, though, because, I mean, she didn't seem like a very large woman. So I would think, like, 3 hits with a 9, like, she would have dropped. But she seemed to just run like nobody's business,
And I think, like, one of those shots looked like she was already facing the other way, so it would have, like, hit her in the back. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a fucking expert. It just
seems hokey.
It seems weird.
And
but, at the same time, it's like, okay, if it was some kind of false flag, like, who are these news people? Was it all a scam where they just, like, embedded
does
in the
anybody
news
know
station?
these news people?
I mean, I would think that they had been on that. I don't know. I didn't, like, look into their histories or anything like that.
Or that it did actually happen, but this video is just released just to add to the whole gun control debate and to further for shock and awe, and to basically, like, okay, maybe it did happen, But then they're like, oh, here's this video.
Just to make it seem more
Just
real.
to kind of like hit home, because let's face it, most people in America, once they see that and they go online, they're not going to think critically like we are
I don't
about
know.
it.
I just
they're
don't.
just going to jump on the like we need to ban guns.
That doesn't seem probable to me.
I don't know.
That's just like
Throwing it out there.
yeah, it just doesn't seem probable to me.
You know, like how many shootings, how many like mass shootings have happened in this country, and then as soon as they happen, it's always like the gun control debate. But the agenda is never.
No, it is
furthered.
always too. Like these people were on drugs. You know,
On drugs?
on drugs. Yeah, like I believe he was on some drugs. I believe Ben Swan did a piece on it.
What you mean, like
prescribed drugs from
psychedelic
doctors.
prescription.
You know?
Yeah, that seems to be a common thread.
Yeah,
Although-
like mental health and not mental health seems to be the common thread in all these incidents. But let's not talk about that. Let's talk about the tool. You know, let's
Man,
talk
I
about
started
the gun.
watching this fucking Reason video. I should have finished it, but they were talking about how, like, barring people from getting guns for being mentally ill isn't necessarily the best course of action, because I think the point they were going to get to is that, I mean, you can have been recorded as having a mental illness and gotten over it, or been wrongly reported, or a number of things, and then all of a sudden you can't own a gun anymore.
That happened to a lot of veterans. Like if you came back, and they had in your medical records, like after you came back from a deployment or multiple deployments, and before you separated from the military, if you actually maybe just sought out, for PTSD, just to see like, do I actually have PTSD? That would show up in their medical records, and a lot of times could be denied. And it's happened a couple times. Applying for a firearm or purchasing a firearm, where it shows up in their medical records like, oh, you're mentally incapable. It's like, I went to see if I was, So yeah, it's how would you determine?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of
vague.
vague.
I mean, I could see it just being used to just keep normal people from getting guns.
Oh,
like someone that
yeah.
you don't
I mean,
like, or-
once you draw a line, it seems like the line just keeps moving. You know, it just keeps moving in closer, and they want to exclude more people. And I mean,
but at the same time, I don't want like actual psychos to have guns.
Okay, so what's going to stop them from buying them from the dude down the street selling them out the back of his car?
That's true. I'm just saying I don't want them to. I'm not saying I want to.
I mean, it's the whole thing's just fucking irrelevant, dude. Because like whether I don't even believe in gun registration.
Right.
Like, I mean, I don't believe that it should exist. It's. I don't think it does any good, because if it's something like over 99% of guns that are used in crimes are purchased illegally.
Right.
So, or it's basically 99% of guns that are purchased legally are never used in a crime. So, if you've got gun owners doing like that well in the exam, they're scoring a 99%.
Right.
And you've got violent crime has actually dropped. You just had the coverage of it has increased.
Yeah.
And it's just not that big of a problem. Criminals are getting their guns illegally.
Right.
So if they're gonna do that anyways, it's why even have the registration? It seems like a waste of time, a waste of money, a waste of resources, and it hasn't done anything. It's just not going to do anything to stop somebody from getting a gun.
I would also like to see the statistics on how much of gun violence is related to the war on drugs.
Let me go through the documents here.
How much of it is related to, gang violence that's a result of the drug trade?
I'd say huge percentage.
So huge, yeah. Totally.
Shouldn't we focus on just ending the drug war and just seeing, hey, maybe we'll see a decrease in gun crime?
Totally. I mean, dude, it wouldn't matter if there was just one accident a year or one incident a year. The media would just jump all over it and just blow it, talk about it all year.
Oh yeah, sure.
I mean,
things like they like to focus on these mass shootings, but if there was something that would be more relevant to focus on, it would be just the everyday gun violence that you see. That's gang related or whatever. But no, that's not juicy enough, and people don't give a fuck because it doesn't affect them. But knowing that some random crazy dude might get his hands on a gun and shoot you while you're eating breakfast, that's something that people can get afraid of. You know, even though it's like super highly unlikely. That's but that's that's what the media does.
Yeah, dude. And I think it all comes down to, too, I mean, it's, your right to bear arms, your right to defend yourself, so it's, who's to tell me that I don't have the right to defend myself?
Exactly. Alex, would you tell him that he can't defend himself? Would you do that?
No, not at all.
You're good, man.
We're just, it's ridiculous. But yeah, moving on.
Moving on up. Jerry Seinfeld. He's a cool guy, and his kids are cool too. So
he's been pretty cool recently.
He has been.
Yeah, I mean, he was ragging on the whole PC thing. So I mean, that's cool. Anytime somebody rags on PC or football, no, okay. So yeah, he was ragging on PC. That was cool. And then this week his kids were they had set up a lemonade stand in his neighborhood, and were selling lemonade for charity. Unfortunately, the cops were called by a neighbor and shut it down. I guess they alleged that it was obstructing traffic. And I can't remember where it was, but I guess it was like some sort of like, obviously like a super rich neighborhood if Jerry Seinfeld's living there.
The Hamptons?
Probably.
Yeah.
But either way, it's fucking stupid on many levels. I mean, these kids are trying to raise money for charity. They're selling lemonade. They're being entrepreneurs at the same time. And, here comes the state to shut down that fun. So
Yeah.
I don't know what's worse, like the cops showing up or the fact that a fucking neighbor called the cops.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like my
It's
story
hard to
last
say
week.
what's worse, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like my story. Was it last week or the week before where we were just hanging out at my friend's house and the cops were called because we had parked illegally or something, even though we hadn't. And it's just like, why? Look, if Jerry Seinfeld's kids are blocking the road, which I imagine is just people stopping to get lemonade for like a minute and then getting back in their cars and drive. I can't imagine it was like a line of like 100 cars, clogging up the fucking road. But why don't you just go over and say, "Hey Jerry, having trouble getting my fucking Hummer through here. Can you can you tell your kids to maybe back off the road a little bit? Can you maybe have them pull into the driveway? Whatever it is." Instead you got to call the fucking cops on some kids. That's super fucked up to me, man.
Yeah, dude. That's totally fucked up. Yeah.
All right. Moving on. So what is this? Oh, the UN privacy chief came out and said that surveillance is worse than 1984, the movie. Not the year.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
The book, I think it was
Or
initially.
whatever.
George Orwell was the author.
Whatever, man.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. That's it's very telling of the times, It's like every week, you just hear of like another story,
Yeah.
of how we're getting spied on more,
Mm-hmm.
all the different ways that they're spying on us, So, and one thing that I'm reading about this week, and was it San Jose, California?
Yeah.
The the trash trucks, apparently, like they're talking about a measure that would put these $15,000 cameras on the trash trucks to scan license plates.
Yeah.
It was an effort for Amber Alerts or stolen cars to like read the plates so that
Yeah, I mean, well, that's what they're saying.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, it's all
who knows what it could be used
it's
for.
for the good. It's to keep the children safe.
Yeah.
And it's to stop crime. Matt, are you against that?
Yeah, I'm against the camera being everywhere.
Yeah, no, I'm just being that.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're always going to use some excuse, that's got some good intention behind it, and
it's for the children.
I mean, if we lived in a perfect world and if that's all it was ever used for, I mean, I guess it wouldn't be so bad, but we all know that that's not where it's going to end up. We all know it's going to be used for, whatever, maybe used in the war on drugs, maybe used to keep notes on activists or, find out what meetings people are going to, maybe collect dirt on somebody.
Yeah,
you know,
who would store the data? You're allowing a private company,
yeah, and
waste
this is a
management,
private,
trash company, the trash, whoever it was because in the video they show that it's like waste management trucks, so they're probably contracted out to the city or however the case may be.
Yeah, and apparently, like they ended the it was like a news report, and they ended it by saying they're still looking into whether it's actually legal.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like without even like consulting like the Constitution or looking at the law. They're just like,
I mean,
this would be a great idea.
You look into that before you propose such a measure.
Yeah,
city councilman just real gung ho about it, but he probably gets campaign contributions from whoever manufactures the license plate readers.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah,
so
probably so.
And it's funny too, like because it's not all bad news, right? It's basically like at this point in time, people of the world are probably freer than they ever have been in history, right?
Yeah.
And there's less violence going on proportionately than there ever was before in history.
That is true, yes.
So things are getting better.
Yes.
As we're getting freer.
Right.
Do you see the correlation?
Yes.
It's basically, I mean, that's for everybody, Things are getting better as we are getting freer, in so many ways. So, it's not all 100% bad news. And
it's just the bad news is a lot easier to find and talk about.
Yeah, and maybe that's a good thing though, because that's how you kind of like get it out there and you get people to oppose it, because government will only get away with what you let them. There just comes a point where that's why you're seeing the war on drugs tipping. It's there comes a point where most people are against it, and the government just can't get away with it anymore.
Right.
It's just like at some point it just becomes ridiculous, obvious tyranny. It's even more so than normal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, speaking of the drug war, a police chief in Cincinnati, Ohio, came out with an ad supporting Issue 3 in Ohio, which is to legalize marijuana.
Legalize the ganj.
And, he had, what did he say? He worked with, was it the DEA or...
He was a narcotics.
Or SWAT, narcotics.
He was a narcotics officer, so he...
Some shit like that.
He's like, I've seen what addiction does... And I've seen how the drug war contributes to it, and it needs to end. And that's awesome.
Yeah, and it just goes back to like people getting freer, things getting better,
right?
But basically, it was saying $100 million just last year were used just to enforcement of stopping people from smoking a plant. So. Yeah, it was a ballot. I guess a ballot initiative.
And he also brought up,
Ohio.
like if police weren't wasting their time on that, they would catch more violent offenders.
Right.
More actual crimes where there is a victim. Where we should actually be concerned.
Right.
So he brought that up, and it's important to note that since the drug war, the prosecution of actual crimes, real crimes, violent crimes. Has there's all these resources thrown at the drug war that those real crimes aren't getting fucking solved.
Right.
It's just a waste of time and resources.
And then you're also creating more crime with the drug laws. I mean, not only just like
of
not
course.
only just like the actual
you're creating crimes that shouldn't be crimes.
Well, that and also, I mean, like I said before, you're creating like gun violence, like. Murders. You're also generating that otherwise
fish
concerts.
Concerts.
Oh, did you hear? Like they made a huge bust at a fish concert at Merriweather. They made a huge bust. Apparently, like in the whole like hippie, like fish jam band scene, like,
hippie realm. The realm.
The nitrous oxide is big. Like they call it hippie crack. Apparently.
Yeah.
Really, they call it hippie crack?
Yeah. And apparently they made like a huge bust at Merriweather. Like they managed to get like, so it's like it comes in like these tanks, and I guess they like fill up these balloons with them, and then people like inhale the balloons, and they somehow managed to sneak like a whole bunch of tanks into Merriweather, and but they ended up busting these guys, and apparently they're like the biggest nitrous oxide dealers, I guess, in like the East Coast or something like that.
Yeah, it's all under control. Like it's used for dentist office for sedation dentistry, but but it's all technically under lock and key because you can't, like our company, we distribute them, but it's all like you got a medical license.
Oh, really?
So it's hard to get So
Okay, so these guys had some kind of in.
Yeah, probably because it's controlled,
Right.
Because it's like a medical gas, so
Uh-huh.
or prescription. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's crazy. So when did that happen this past week?
My buddy was telling me like last Thursday, so maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago. I don't know.
Yeah, the man came in, busted up a good time.
Fucking bunch of hippies just getting high off some NO, man. The fuck. So, I guess now that we're talking about cops, why stop now?
Word.
We were just watching this cool little video of a cop pulled some guys over, and basically was like, so you can either buy these tickets to this, I don't know, some kind of like cop fundraiser event, or I can take your car because it was unregistered. And the tickets were only like, were like $10 a piece or something. And he wanted them to buy like 3 of them. So basically, this cop's just extorting these guys. Taking bribes to let them just drive away.
Yeah, the cop was just it was total extortion, and the cop was being a dick too.
Yeah, he's like
on top of being
he was
an
being a huge
extortionist.
dick. He was like, yeah, you guys got to buy these tickets. And the one guy was like, well, can I take my girlfriend? He's like, yeah, I mean, you don't want to take this guy. You guys don't want to be a bunch of fruitcakes, do you? So he was being like super,
Yeah, dude, he was being offensive to Alex's people, dude.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, very homophobic. I don't
Yeah, dude.
appreciate that.
Social justice war.
I mean, at least nobody got shot this time, though.
Yeah.
So
It's posted
yeah,
up on the site,
at least
right?
nobody got shot. Yeah,
The
yeah,
whole
it
video
is
is posted.
Yeah, on Punk Rock Libertarians, we had a couple articles on it. So, yeah, I mean, it's total just like open faced extortion, and like the amazing thing is too, like the camera is in this guy's lap, and this cop doesn't notice.
well, I mean, if it's a cell phone, it could just be sitting in his lap.
I don't know. There's all these cases of cops being filmed these days, and they still have the audacity to fuck up this much on camera.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're
I mean,
not the
come on.
smartest people typically, right?
Dude, maybe these are conspiracies, dude. just to drum up us libertarians
Yeah,
to get us saying bad things.
it's the pro-libertarian agenda.
Yeah, maybe these are conspiracies, dude. Or no, but
Maybe this podcast is a conspiracy.
Maybe
Maybe we're all government agents.
Oh, dude,
Now shit's getting weird.
shit's weak. I'm
Oh,
starting to doubt you guys.
here's another cop story. This one's out of Australia, but still relevant. Libertarianism is worldwide. Worldwide, wide. A cop faces 7 years for leaking a video of other fellow cops brutally beating up some man.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show like how the police system is like designed to go against good cops.
Yeah.
It's just like it's just written.
Yeah, what incentive do you have as a cop to be a good cop in the face of all this shit? If now not only it'd be one thing if it's like, okay, this guy's gonna get fired, but now he's facing 7 years in jail. I'm not sure what the charge is. I imagine it's probably like obstruction of justice, or I don't know, maybe not that one, but maybe leaking government documents or some shit. But either way,
unauthorized. Or,
yeah, I mean, who the fuck knows? Some fucking fabricated bullshit. But yeah, I mean, if a cop can now go to jail for, turning in fellow cops for breaking the law, that's fucking scary.
Dude, okay, here's like a blazed and paranoid conspiracy theory. Okay, so what if these videos of cops like abusing their authority and abusing people, were just put out there by the state, right? So then no good people will want to be cops. So when they like enforce martial law and go like total 100% in 1984, like all the cops are bad cops, so they have no opposition.
I want whatever you're smoking, man. That would be very, very interesting, very complex.
But we have the documents. We have the documents.
Dude, all we need is Alexis to drum up those documents, and
next podcast,
we're fucking InfoWars, man.
Yeah, I'll dig them up. I'll see what I can find. But
Cool.
yeah, that's kind of a leap there, Matt. But
I'm just showing you how it could be done. You know.
I mean, so do you think that's what? Do you think that's actually an effect though? As far as like cops, like good cops are like, I don't even want to be a part of this, so it's just all the remaining cops will be bad.
No, well, I mean,
Or do you think some cops will be like, I want to change? Like there's some people that still think we should have like a state police force, but they do want it to be good. So do you think maybe there's some cops that are like, I want to go in and just be a good cop and like try and reform shit?
Well, I mean, that's one way of looking at it.
You get weeded out.
You know, I hope that's the case. You know,
Yeah,
I hope that's the case.
That just seems like a monumental task.
I hope that's the case
'Cause it seems like a lot of cops
seems
do-
like the best case scenario for right now.
Yeah, because I mean I'd like to believe there are some percentage of cops that do go in with noble intentions, but they seem to be overwhelmed by not only just like the bad cops, but just like the system itself. You know, they can't thrive in that system. They can't do as much good as they want to. So, I mean, I'm not sure if it needs to be like a top-down change or if it's even possible with a monopoly on force. That would be my argument. Is just it's not possible.
I mean, like, do you think that like there is something to like shunning the office of being a policeman? You know, I mean, especially while
Shunning the office.
Yeah, I mean,
Just like nobody deciding they want
or
to be cops.
basically
anymore.
ostracizing cops. You know, it's like if you know somebody who's a cop, you know, do you tell them like, hey, dude, there's a lot of fucked up laws, and you just signed up to enforce them?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a reasonable and a very hard thing to do.
Yeah,
If you have a friend that signs up to be a cop and you're like, dude, you know you're going to be enforcing, enforcing laws against victimless crimes. How does that feel?
And while I feel that's 100% true, you know, like, you know, the contrarian side of me is saying, well, you know, do you want to ostracize good people from being cops? Because maybe that's the best way to improve the police force. But can you improve the police force until the laws are changed? So maybe you even want those bad cops. Maybe the problem is the solution.
Yeah. It's got to get super bad before it gets good, right?
Exactly. You know, people get more pissed about it. People demand better.
Right. Yeah. I mean, what do you think about like LEAP officers?
I mean, dude, I think it's great, man. I mean, I think it's better than officers that aren't
That
LEAP
stands
officers.
for Law
Yeah.
Enforcement Against Prohibition, by the way.
Oh, well, thank you.
I'm just letting the audience know, man.
Okay, dude.
Okay.
Wow, dude, you fucking Columbus that shit.
I Columbused it?
Nah, I'm just fucking with you. Okay.
What does that mean?
It means you discovered, dude. It's an amazing discovery.
Okay. All right. What were you saying?
Fucking invented that shit.
What were you saying, though?
I forget now.
We were
about
saying...
leap. About leap.
Yeah.
Oh, about
like,
LEAP.
What do you
Yeah.
think about... Because, I mean...
It's law enforcement against prohibition,
Right.
as you fucking Columbus a second ago. So, you know, I mean, you know, I think it's great that there are cops that are waking up and speaking out, and I feel like there's a lot of there's a lot of people that are, you know, like I talk to people all the time that are just kind of like they want to support cops no matter what kind of fucked up shit they do, and then when I'm talking to them, I'm just kind of like standing back in my head, and I'm just like, wow, doesn't this dude have YouTube? You know, it's I mean, come on, man. It's like, and
I mean, I see a lot of that, dude.
and usually it is older people though. Like,
No,
usually,
no.
like for me, I don't get as many younger people disagreeing with me.
Well, yeah, I live in Carroll County, which is like basically like a red county, like the.
Is it also like rural, so they don't all have internet? Maybe is that could there
No,
maybe
they
some
all
of
have
that going
internet.
on?
It's just they're very pro cop, very pro military, pro Jesus, which is ironic.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like it just shows the importance of this video, though, because I mean, how many of these videos can you watch and still be pro cop?
I don't know, man, but it seems like every video that comes out, there's always some apologist. That's just like, oh, well, he shouldn't have been being a dick to the cop. He shouldn't have been selling a cigarette on the side of the road.
More people are pissed off, though.
Oh, I agree,
and,
but it amazes me that there are people like that.
Yeah, and
well, they're not all like that.
And, like 20
I'm
years ago...
That, but I'm saying there are people like that. And
like 10, 20 years ago, there wasn't as many cell phones out there. There wasn't as many ways of catching these guys on videotape.
Right.
So it's another way that we're getting freer. There is a chance, because that's really frustrating when you talk to people and they're like, "Oh, okay, yeah, whatever, dude. I know things are fucked up, but what can I do?"
Yeah.
Or another, like what I meant by they're not all like that is a cop apologist. They'll see a video like that and they're like, "Oh, that's just an isolated incident," but they don't see the steady stream of video. It's like this is happening all the time,
Yeah.
So it's not just like an isolated incident here or there, talking to a cop apologist, like it's like don't you see like all these videos that are out there, and it's like every other
I'm
day,
not sure if it's like the same cop apologist on every video, but yeah. I would find that even harder to believe that someone can watch all these videos and just have an excuse for each one. But
didn't you? Like, I think I read something not too long ago where it's like the government actually pay people to like create statist arguments on the internet.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
Operation whatever. I have the documents. No.
Yeah, I don't know. I read something about it a while ago.
You leaning on that a little hard, Alex.
Yeah. No, I mean it's probably it's
no.
true.
I mean it's basically like, dude, everybody's on the internet, So, and it's the internet has helped liberate so many minds. So the government wants to get in on that with their propaganda.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's far-fetched to say that there's
statist trolls, dude.
Statist trolls.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's some on our page.
On Uncle Sam's bankroll, dude.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's I wouldn't doubt that.
Yeah. I don't know.
Disinformation.
How would you even prove that, though? It's tough. You'd have to get the documents.
Yeah. You'd have to have someone on the inside leak it.
Yeah. Well,
leak the documents.
Anything else you guys want to hit on today? I think we pretty much ran through all my...
The week in review.
Yeah, we just rolled a train.
A nice Liberty train.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. All right, guys. Until next time, live free.
That is shed, drenching the flags of the tax bombs in red. Was its way of few at the expense of the many. Soldiers and gods in a death machine. You can't justify killing by economic gain. For God, country, and democracy, you can put freedom at gunpoint in a foreign land. You support the troops, then bring them home. I believe that you will do the best for you, and I believe that we have the power, I hate the state, and I know I'm a slave. We can make the break the power. Society owes individuals nothing more than non-interference with natural rights. Once a virtuous person fully comprehends the non-aggression principle, the violence of the state becomes obsolete.